at you, but you can have some private life. But you just have to be extra with everything, And I think that's why you don't see a lot of celebrities around because now your matter is everybody's matter. And when you step out your door, everybody's trying to say hello, hi, and you must be, in high spirits every single time. You can't have a dull moment. So you have to try extra to always, be smiley and stuff when you're out. And that's why I think a lot of celebrities stay indoors and you don't see them much because they would just like to have that peace and quiet from time to time. Yeah.
So you rightly mentioned that when you decide to have a private life, I mean, you would have to, smile. Basically, what I get is maybe sort of live a fake life out there just to please the people,
Um,
because. Uh-huh.
it's I wouldn't say fake life. You just have to have a lot of energy for that because people seem to forget that celebrities are human at the end of the day. You can't meet a fan and frown. Then they will say you are rude and they will complain, oh, we met Miss V and she was so rude and she wasn't very nice. But they've forgotten that maybe I could have had a problem coming from home or I'm fighting with, say, my boyfriend or a friend and maybe today is just not the day. But it's not like that. As someone in the limelight, when you show up in town, show up anywhere, you have to be in high spirits every single time because you have people who have been watching you for so long on TV, listening to you on radio, and they are seeing you maybe for the very first time that particular day. So you can't have a dull moment. So it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. It's not easy at all. But that's why I'm saying at the end of the day, I think that a lot of celebrities are mostly at home or you just don't see them because it's not easy to keep that type of energy. So you reserve the energy for when you really have to, do something or have to meet people, do some particular type of work.
Right. And I assume you have a private life, right?
Oh, a very private one.
And how do you manage it? How do you manage your life as a public figure and, your private stuffs as well?
Okay, so for me, work is work, and my personal life is my personal life, and I do not mix the two in any way, at all, at all, at all. I keep work as work, and I keep my private life as my private life. So I just make sure the two of them don't mix. When I'm home, I'm home. When I'm with family, I'm with family. It is not work. When I'm away from family, when I'm not home, then I'm working. So all that is on social media, Once in a while, I'm home and, my snaps and things like that. But it doesn't show anything other than maybe I'm exercising or something funny on the TV or radio or just something I have to say. But anything that's really private and personal, I make sure I do not bring it on social media. I just really separate both.
But I mean, in managing your private life and your life as a public figure, have you had any setbacks? Has there been any effect on your career, be it positive or negative?
Um, there's not been any effect like that. I mean, you let things have a negative effect on you if you allow them to, I think. No, I think I'm just really good at managing my private life very well. There's no negative to it. It's just, I guess it's positive because I know how to keep the work and my private life very separate.
Right. And are you still able to pass by that watch seller, go by a grocery store in your slipper and have nobody looking at you, as
Oh, then
with.
nobody looking at you will never happen. There's always that's what I mean by that's why you may not see a lot of public figures in public, pun intended, because the minute you step out, you can't be the I can't be the Vera that my mom knows. That I have to be active. I have to be Miss V. I have to be that person that this girl is watching on TV that she loves and she's meeting for the first time. So it's not easy stepping out. You have to step out properly. That's what I think. You have to step out properly and step out well. So it's pressure, more pressure.
So based on your experience, would you say it is absolutely cool for a celebrity to have, a private life, or you intentionally imposed it on your people that, look, I'm a public figure, but I have to have my private space as well?
The thing is, I've always been the way I am today. I've always had my private life very private. So it was not a tough thing at all when I started the music. It was really just normal for me because for me, work is always just work, and my private life is my private life. So I didn't. It wasn't anything difficult for me. It wasn't.
All right, Ms. V, thank you so much for speaking to us. I hear you have another interview with the BBC, so we'll quickly let go of you, and thank you for your contributions.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so that was singer Miss V. We just spoke to, and she says, look, she has a private life. She's a public figure. She's a singer. She has a private life, and she's been managing it so far so good. But we also have Grammy-nominated international musician and activist Rocky Dawuni also on the phone lines, and he'll also be sharing his thoughts with us on the topic. Hello, Rocky.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I can't complain. It's a beautiful morning right here in Ghana, so we have to give thanks, right?
Great, we do, definitely we do. So, Rocky, I'm sure you've been following the conversation. I mean, we just got off the phone with Ms. V. I don't know if you followed that conversation with her, but really, as a you are an international public figure. I mean, is it possible for a public figure like you to have a private life?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, it's. I think it is everybody's inalienable right to have their own life that they share with just the people close to them, and it's not something that is part of the public persona and public life. Because the public life is under the glare of scrutiny. The public life is under constant judgment, a judgment without people even knowing what is going on in your life, And in the times that we're living right now, too, the public life has also become exploitative by, whether it's the blogging world, whether it's like, people who are just trying to really trend or people who are just trying to. And then some of the celebrities themselves have been lured into the whole thing of thinking that just because when you release something about your personal life and it gets people talking about you, it's a two-edged sword, because it will get to a point when you become addicted to the rush of that media attention. But that media attention in the long run might start getting deeper into personal stuff that you don't need to, it doesn't need to be exposed to the public. And not to say that when you're a public figure too, that means that you have the right to do things underground and people not talk about it. Obviously, being in that stature, you're going to be scrutinized. So you also have to make sure that your actions too are worthy, when there's a spotlight on. But, we live in a time when, it doesn't matter whether sometimes you tell the truth anyway. The headlines might define. By the time you will find out what people think, everybody has insulted you, So it's a very difficult time for public figures, because it's a time that most people have not had precedence as to how to navigate the subtleties of this. And then if you haven't also been in this thing for a long time, as I have been, I have understood the power and at the same time too the trappings of public life. So you have to make sure that certain boundaries, you set certain boundaries, and that boundary, you yourself don't compromise that boundary, or else you're gonna end up in confusion. As right now, I'm seeing certain celebrities make certain, I wouldn't say celebrities, certain personas make certain mistakes of overexposure, and sometimes even, something that you have to take your time and think about. They just jump on and start like going live and talking about it, because underneath it, they crave that attention. But the thing is that whatever you say is also, you are not only addressing people around you, you're addressing the world. So you have to understand the power of what you are holding, and you cannot say things and then afterwards you say, "Oh, I did not mean it." No. So So we just have to understand that we live in a brave new world. The dynamics have changed. The games have changed. So privacy has become a commodity. But at the same time, too, this is the best time for not only celebrities, public figures, but individuals to protect their privacy. You can't just be your whole life, what is going on, your pain and all of that kind of stuff, just be putting out in public. People are going through the same thing, you know, so just be measured about it and use your common sense.
So you
and I
mentioned,
feel that,
you mentioned something about boundaries. You need to set boundaries as a celebrity. If you decide to have a private life, what kind of boundaries are you talking about here?
I mean, boundaries, I mean, in terms of, you know, you don't like your person, you don't go sharing your personal, deeper life unless you want to, you know, unless maybe you're doing something you want, like, okay, I want to talk about this. But there's certain personal, you know, like you have personal stuff, let's say, in your family, personal stuff with your people you love and close to you. You don't come to work and start talking about it on radio because it's not the business of us to know. It's your own personal stuff. But I feel that some
But you know,
people,
Rocky, not to catch you,
Yes.
a while ago, George Ado Jr., one of my sports colleagues here, I had a conversation with him still on this topic, and he opined that once you decide to put that tag public figure on yourself as a person, you really can't hide anything private anymore. You need to. It's not fair. It's not fair to hide or shield certain things from your fans when you're a public figure. How do you react to that?
I'm not talking of hide. You know, you're not hiding it. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just deciding what needs to be talked. Because you're a public figure does not mean you're a commodity. You know, these are people, these are individuals who have feelings, who have families, and all of that kind of stuff. So being a public figure does not make you anything special. You know, you're just another person with a lot of attention on. So all I'm saying is that I'm not saying that you have to hide something or you have to. Obviously, your life is already under scrutiny. I'm just saying that there are certain things that, you know, let's say, you know, I'm not gonna have, you know, be walking, you know, like walking around like in my house, like, oh, in my pajamas, you know, like my private moments, and then I would just live cast that. You know, that's stupidity. You know what I mean? So and the public doesn't need to know that. You know, so that's all I'm saying, that it's, you know, you have the right, everybody has the right to their own privacy. Just as you have walls in your house, that doesn't mean that because you're a public figure, anybody can jump over your wall and come and say, hey, what are you cooking? You're a public figure, so we have a right to come and invade your life and that kind of stuff. I don't think that is what it means. We have to understand that these are human beings behind these personas. So when you think of them as unfeeling, and the public also, the media also starts like saying things, because these days, you know, when you post something about somebody and you are not careful, there's gonna be a whole lot of people who are gonna attack them, a whole lot of people who are gonna spin it around, a whole lot of people who are gonna use that misinformation to create more misinformation. So let's imagine that this is not the truth. So this person has to deal with the whole thing of what it is. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It's happening, you know, but it doesn't mean that because the person is a public figure, that means that everything about them should be exploited and is justified to be exploited. I'm just saying that you have to think that these are all human beings with family, with attachments and all of that kind of stuff. So you should be empathetic and also support them and know that, you know, whatever you're doing has repercussions. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
You know, and I'm not saying that, oh, you know, if you have something to hide or you have something to do, you know, everybody's a private person. You know, we are all not created to be exploited for the sake of the masses. You know, it doesn't mean because you are good at what you do and you are able to shine from your corner, you're able to do something very good. That means that whoever you are is also for public consumption. No, that's not a healthy framework of thinking. We just have to make sure that we are measured in what we do, and we are also put thought behind what we do, or else, you know, it will be like the Tower of Babel, which I feel like sometimes it is. It's just like everybody, you know, is, you know, the media, everybody will take something, share it, not even read the details. somebody would take the same thing and say, oh, this person said this, and then all of a sudden that also goes viral somewhere, and then it's just become a whole kind of, mountain of confusion, So it's a time that we have to know that information too is being weaponized, and it's being weaponized in such a way that it's being used to attack people and all of that. So we just have to be much more thoughtful in the time in which we are, how we treat each other. And I feel that celebrities too, I don't like the word celebrity. I think that public figures, who are in the limelight too, have to understand that you are in the limelight too because of the love of the people. So you don't have to also take that. You have to use that position with reverence and respect, and not abuse that. Too,
right.
And feel that because you're on a certain pedestal, that means it makes you somebody special.
Yeah.
You're no special from your fans. You're just like your fans. It's just that you have been given a certain mandate to shine, so that with that you can shine with everybody. And I think that if we start looking at that and building a society that is empathetic and thinking about each other, maybe we can put things in a right balance where everybody will feel like, oh, it's okay for things to be said because it's the truth. It represents me, and it doesn't represent a sort of exploitation.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. But let's turn the focus on you a bit. I mean, are there some things that you used to do in the past before you became who you are now? I mean, are there some of the things? What are some of the things you used to do in the past that you can't do anymore since you became a public figure?
The thing is that I for a long time knew that I don't have to buy into the whole thing of the celebrity, the star thing, and that stuff because it's prison. You create a prison around yourself. You just think of yourself too special, and it's just, I just think it's to some extent it's a mediocre way of viewing the world. So I just go about doing things normally. I remember, when I got popular, the earliest year when I got popular, and I would go and visit my mom in Koforidua, and then I would go to the market to go do the marketing for her. So, which I had always done. So I'll be walking in the market, people will just be stopping in their tracks and looking, and I'll be holding a thing, buying, bargaining stuff, and people say, there will be any who bit me about you. We have them, so there be, I'd like to do this. Me, mommy, Nesuma, me say, me baba Tony, and that kind of stuff. And then people, after a while, everybody got normal, and everybody left you, and you were just normal doing your thing, and they did not freak out about you. You see? So I feel that when you start living your life normal, like I will go jogging, I will see people, they see me the first time, everybody stops. By the second time, when they see me running around, hey, they wave and that kind of stuff, and it's normal. So you can have a normal life if you don't start shielding yourself like, you have, you can only walk on water, and that's so that overhyped sense of importance. But that is not to say that you don't have to also think about your security and sometimes and all of that kind of stuff. That does not mean that you stupidly, have to, not know that, okay, there are eyes on you. So whatever you do has to be, you have to do it with the level of focus and respect that is required that you need to give the community to that you're engaged with, So, all I'm saying is I just try to live my life in a normal way, in a humble way. I will go to my farm, I will be at my house playing my guitar. I will walk to the neighborhood store. I'm friends with everybody that is in the area. Once you do that, you just have a normal, ordinary, beautiful life. And I think that I learned that a long time ago, that, when you are given that gift is a gift of service. And you don't have to use that gift to elevate your ego or, shall I say, magnify your self-importance, So I think that philosophy has helped me a lot to cope with it every day.
Right, Rocky. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. But before I let you go, though, do you have any projects coming up?
Yes, actually, the thing is that I have a new EP that we've been pushing. It's called Voice of Boom Boom Volume 1.
Voice of what?
Voice of Boom Bong.
What does
Boom
that
Bong is my
mean?
hometown. Boom Bong is my hometown. So this EP was done as an homage to traditional culture, where I'm from, and all of that. But it's an album that has various global styles, from high life to Afrobeat to reggae music, and it's just a beautiful album. So, the EP, anybody that's listening, they should go and stream it, on all social media. And, I'm also currently working on my foundation and working to launch a tree planting initiative too, that I feel that in my capacity to as United Nations Goodwill Ambassador for Environment, I feel that I need to be doing some important work too within my own country. So I've launched 3 different tree planting initiatives, and I will be calling on you very, very soon in terms of support, because we'll be launching some of them possibly in Accra, and we'll need a lot of people to come and support us in terms of planting trees and greening our cities, and also trying to increase our environmental awareness here, because we can see issues from Galamsey to the problem with even Etiwa Forest and all of this environmental stuff that is important for our future.
Right.
So we should stop spending too much time on social media trying to figure out what people are doing, and start focusing on real things like planting trees, shoring up our environment, because in the post-COVID world, if you don't focus on your own health and your own food and building your own resilience, nobody else is going to do it for you.
Right.
So we should be focusing on the real things like gardening, farming, things that are important, that will help us through these times, rather than too much time FaceTime on issues that are trending, that in the long run don't have an important impact in terms of our everyday life.
I'll tell you what, Rocky, would invite you into our studio and have a proper conversation on your EP, your upcoming project, and you get to also share some nugget of wisdom with us. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you too for speaking to us.
For having me, and I just want to wish all Ghanaians a wonderful, wonderful day, and also everybody focus on your immune system. Boost your immune system.
Right.
Eat right, drink right. That is use nature as your healing power.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I want to tell our people.
Right.
Yes.
Right, Rocky. Thank you so much once again, and it was awesome speaking to you.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too. So that was Rocky Dawuni. He's a Grammy-nominated international musician and activist, speaking to us on the topic up for discussion, which is, as a public figure or a celebrity, is it possible to have a private life? And in the studio with me is Ghanaian professional master of ceremonies, international boxing ring announcer, and television and radio journalist Nathaniel Atto. I mean, this man, he's such a great man. I started watching him when I was a little child, and I was such a baby watching him. I mean, he's hosted some shows like the VGMAs, the Ghana Movie Awards, Emmy Africa Awards, Miss Ghana, Miss Universe, music concerts. I mean, he's introduced every relevant artist in Ghana on stage, from the old, the new generation. Charlie, he's a great man. He's really great, and it's such an honor to be speaking to. It's actually crazy to actually watch you as a child and to be interviewing
Charlie,
you today.
guys.
It's crazy. And also in the studio is my man, Mr. Logic, artist manager, and of course, serious showbiz critic. Controversial man. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's what he said. Come on. But you know
Nathaniel.
what? We have to issue a disclaimer. People. So in the past, how many months? In the past, 6 months. This is the second time I've heard somebody say to me, "Oh, I used to watch you when I was." And another lady in the building, she gestured. She was like, "Oh, I was a little girl."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, hold on. I'm still very, very young." Yeah. But we're grateful, and I'm glad to be here. Good to see you on this side
Good to see you too.
of the table, though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. So I'm going to start the conversation with a question. First of all, do you have a private life, Nathaniel?
Yes, I do. I have a private life.
How's that?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Go on at Citizen Atto on Instagram. At Citizen Atto. It's one word. CITIZEN A to the double TOH. One word. Go there. Scroll through all of my pictures from when I started Instagram till now and see if you see any picture of any of my children. I have 2 girls.
I follow you on Instagram.
Very
I
well.
don't think I've ever seen you.
Okay, so that should give you an idea. And at the end of the day, what I always say is that you choose the kind of life you want to live. And you carve your path as much as possible by the way you do everything you do. I'm glad about the submissions that were made by Miss V, good friend of mine, Rocky Dawuni, very respected senior artist in this industry. I mean, what he's done for Ghana in terms of putting our flag out there cannot be measured, you know. And it's very simple. I mean, it also depends very largely on where you have come from and the kind of indoctrination you've received or the kind of training that you've received. Okay, I'm throwing back to when February. June will be 18 years since I lost my dad. Okay, God bless his soul. Dr. Atto, when he died, was was a people's person.
Okay.
So the then vice president, I mean, the then, okay, he was a former vice president at the time, had expressed interest to be there, but, you know, so himself, army generals, whoever you want to see, and market women as well. Okay, so it's vast, and it's the whole people's person idea that I've grown with. So once you've got numbers, then you have to know that whether or not you've decided to carve a certain niche for yourself, for your brand, as in you want to be within a certain box in terms of your branding and in terms of your following and who you appeal to, you will still get excesses anyway. But you see, this is the kind of work we do. I'm a broadcaster, I'm an MC. There are days when I'd stand behind the microphone and across from me are thousands of people. You could have the president sitting on one side and you could have ordinary people sitting on the other. Ordinary people who shake at the sight of you, at the opportunity of even getting close to you. And for me, those things are deep. So private life, yes, but it's all about you. And I have a way of, I've had my way of,
So share with us that way, because
Okay,
really
so-
we wanted how you're able to manage, I mean, 2 different aspects of your life.
Let me tell you something. Years ago, okay, so next year, okay, this year in April will be my 12th year in this
in
building.
the industry.
Okay, in this building.
Okay.
In this building alone.
Okay.
Okay, so I was I'd come to work and I wanted to check on. I think I wanted to get some new tires for my car or something. I was like, oh, this thing is just down the curb, down the curb right here. So I was like, okay, you know something? Let me just take a walk. Okay, so I took a walk. I went to check the prices, and I decided to walk back to the office. And then, just as I was hitting the curve, there's this woman who's driving towards me and in the opposite direction. She slows down a little bit, is smiling at me, rolls down her glass, and says, "Hey, superstar pan on form side." I was like, "Oh Lord!" And we both had a good laugh. I waved at her, and she drove off. And I'm saying to myself, "Wow, okay, so I'm not even allowed to walk a few meters, exercise a little bit, leave my car, walk a little bit, and just go just across the street to just get a little bit of fresh air. I'm not even allowed to do that. The public doesn't want to see me do that. You understand me? But hey, at the end of the day, it's me and the way I think and the way I perceive myself, the way I perceive my relationship with the public. And I think that taking a walk from here down there, there's nothing wrong with. And also another one. So one day I drove into a car wash, yeah? And just as I drove in, there was this guy who beckoned me. And when you have a car wash that's very busy, there's all of these guys who are very aggressive and are looking forward to washing as many cars as possible. So this guy sees me, "Hey, Nathaniel Atto." And then, hey, who did be me who TV? So, and then, who see car made Dibby, and I just drove up to him, gave him my car keys, and just went away to see somewhere. All of these things are hilarious moments that make you understand that sometimes we even decrease the measure of the kind of appreciation that people have for us and what we do. And all of these moments always give us wake-up calls. First, that listen, no matter how much you decide to hide, no matter how private you are, and this point has been hit on by Miss V and Rocky Dauni. That, no matter how much you decide to hide, no matter how much you think, oh, I want to have a private life, somebody out there could just be watching you. And I have been in on this all of my life, and because of that, I'm guided by what I do. Look, I've had people walk up to me and say, look, I've been observing you for the last 5 years. I hosted a birthday party at Golden Tulip about 8 weeks ago. And a lady walked up to me and said to me that, look, I've been seeing you at church with your wife and your kids. But, all the time I feel shy, to approach you and say hello to you. And she says to me that she's been watching me for the last 3 years. I've met somebody who's also come up to me and said, look, I've been observing you for the last 5 years. I love what you wear. I love the way you speak. I love your poetry. And I'm like, what? You do? She says, yeah. So it's just the way you, and for me, what I have done is that I have decided to draw a certain block. That block, meaning that when I enter a certain space, I do not want anything to do with external eyes and external faces. Okay? My relationship with my wife is not out there for anybody to see. And I'll keep it for as long as I live. The only time that I brought stuff between me and my wife out was, an inevitable situation. I had to host the launch of the last 2 editions of the EMY Africa Awards at the Jaguar showroom at airport. I accepted to host the event. I'd booked everything on my calendar. And then I said to myself, oh, shoot. And my wedding anniversary is my wife's birthday as well. And then I said to myself, oh, God, you're in trouble. And the women. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Tolerate that.
you dare not, So I sat back and I was like, how am I going to salvage this situation? So I went to my wife and I said, look, very good boy look and everything. I said, look, something, I host this event every year, so it just happens that so I'd like you to come over. And then I planned a surprise for her. So we fit the surprise into the running order of the show. And it just happens that the show was covered by many bloggers. I mean, I remember GH Kweku, Ronnie's everywhere. Everybody was there. And then I remember it was live on Joy Prime as well. So time up to do the surprise. I was a little, I'm a very confident guy, but hey, sometimes you get a bit of jitters. So and I said to everybody, look, people, this is the woman who's always holding my back every time I'm on the stage in different places, or events of varied make, different times of the day. And I think that it's important that I celebrate her on this special day. So Bulare was there, KOD was there, Jocelyn Duma was there. They walked up, they helped me up with the cake. We gave her a very good surprise, and then we had to do a little kiss in front of everybody. And the bloggers, they like that one. Yeah,
I see.
So yeah, but I'm very Ghanaian and very traditional in my ways as well. So you would hardly see me, do a proper long kiss in front of everybody here. We can also get shy sometimes.
I know. So one last question to you, Nat, and that's in relation to, you mentioned that some time ago you were jogging or you were walking, coming to work, and you met this woman who was shocked that a superstar like you.
No, I was already at work.
Okay.
I parked my car and I just decided to go walk up to one of the shops.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you manage situations like that where some people, they see you on television, so they have a certain picture in their head, and so when they see you on a normal day, they want to see exactly that picture they see on TV or who you are on social media, Instagram and all, and then they see you and maybe you look below the standard they expect. How do you manage certain situations like that?
I say this in all humility, and glory be to God as well. Every time when anybody meets me, they are like, oh, okay, so this is you. I've actually had people say to me that they actually think I look more pleasant and I'm a more pleasant character than they see me on television and all. I'm like, okay, glad.
Is it a conscious effort? Is it something
it's a part of my skin. It's this is me.
This is who
you
you
understand
are.
me. I don't yes, I'm deliberate in coordinating my colors. Because I'm an artistic person, okay? So the likelihood that you may see me spend an extra minute or two to select a shoe or to select a shirt or a self-tied bow tie is more than the other person because I'm particular about it. But I don't stress too much about it as well. I don't stress too much about it as well. On a day when I feel like I need to wear my shorts and my polo shirt and my sneakers, I do, and I go depending on where I'm going, and it's fine with me. I don't do anything to please anybody. I do things to express the inner color and the inner strength that is in me, and the inner the energy that runs within me. Okay, so a lot of the time I meet people, but there are a few moments as well where are hilarious. Where a few hilarious moments as well. For instance, I'm the announcer for Spelling Bee as well. So every other year we get together with all of these kids and their parents and everything. And I remember once a parent saw me and he was like, "Oh, Mr. Hato, I thought you were a little taller than this." I said, "Well, this is me, So the television makes you look way taller than, but that's not to say, Karen, we're both.
You're not short.
We're the same height. I'm taller than you are, actually.
You are?
Yeah. I think I'm taller than you.
No, I am.
The heels always help you. Yeah. So, we get all of these encounters, and day in, day out, it just reminds all of us about the responsibility that you have towards people and all of that. And based on that, it guides what we do. It guides our output, and it guides, for someone, they would want their brands to thrive on certain things. For instance, I've met people who've said to me that they go Google me and they don't see anything, but how is it that I'm like, well, it's not to say that I'm an angel, or I'm, Angel Michael or Angel Gabriel or anything. It's just to say that I've been very calculated in my ways. I've also been lucky. God has had my back. And because of that, you don't see anything. And I don't want my brand to thrive on controversy. Okay. Yeah. And that's just it. It's as simple as that. You choose the path, you walk it, and you enjoy the benefits. And when the few downsides come as well, you take them. I'm a man. I take them with my chest.
I like that. I'm a man. I take them on my chest, my full chest. Anyway, hang on with your thoughts, Nathaniel Atta, because we have George Quay, who is, I call him a communication geek, because he's a devil when it comes to communication. He can tell you a lie and make it seem like it's the truth. But yeah, George Quay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. I don't tell a lie. I tell the truth.
No, I'm saying you can't tell a lie and make it seem like a truth.
I don't even know what a lie sounds like.
I hear you.
I don't tell lies. Yeah.
I hear you, George. So, George, I'm sure you've been following our conversation.
Yeah.
We're talking about, how possible it is for public figures or celebrities to have, private lives. And like you said, you've been following that conversation. What are your thoughts? We've heard from Nathaniel Ato, we've heard from Ms. V and Rocky Dawouni. What are your thoughts?
Right. They've all espoused very solid points, and what Nathaniel Ato just said is pretty right. At the end of the day, you see, it's a very thin line being in the limelight and choosing to be private. But is that private? I believe I have a private life. I also believe I'm quite popular. If you hit Google, something's definitely going to pop up. Same about Nathaniel Ato. But the question is, what is going to pop up? Is it something that speaks just about you, who you are, your education, your upbringing? Or is it something that is going to say Nathaniel Ato caught pants down with Noella Karen Yale at Joy FM front desk? Or what? What is going to pop up?
You had to use that. You had to.
Oh, why? Who should I have used? Me and you?
Go on, George.
That the thing is that whatever comes out there, as far as a celebrity is concerned, is the celebrity's own choice. I mean, like Nat rightly said, he has a family, but he doesn't put his family out there. There are many people like that who have families. They don't put their families out there. Even when you cross all the way into Hollywood, there are a lot of celebrities who do very, very well. Even that side where the paparazzi is crazy. There are people like Julia Roberts, Sandra Bullocks, Matt Damon's, Anne Hathaways, and Natalie Portman. A lot of celebrities, even Denzel Washington and Olivia Pope, Kerry Washington. Look, they are pretty private people. You're not going to find a lot of their issues out there, but they do have issues like everybody else. If you choose to bring your family or your private stuff into your business, the problem about being popular is that a lot of people are unable to draw the line, to understand that this is me. this is Mr. Logic. This is what I do. So that if Mr. Logic wants to flaunt his beautiful children and he now wants to put them on social media, what Mr. Logic has forgotten is that that is not a choice the children have made. That is a choice you have made for the children, which is unfair to the children. If for one reason or the other, look, I mean, for years, I think that one of the very first time I ever posted my wife was our anniversary this year. And I only did that because it was the 8th anniversary and it fell on the 8th of February, which was the wedding day. I don't think anybody's going to see me do that again in years. You understand? It's not a thing that I do. Her birthday is just around the corner. I don't even post her on her birthday because I am the one in the limelight, not her. Unless she chooses to ply my route and follow my craft and follow. This is not Beverly Afaglo and Adam, who are both in the limelight. Beverly Afaglo
and
Prior, who are both in the limelight, or Sally Gully and another Prior who are both in the limelight. You understand? It's a totally different story. What you choose as a celebrity should be your responsibility entirely, and you need to always understand the fact that if you pull other people, let me say, innocent people into your celebrity lifestyle, the day, permit me to say, this is early morning, shit hits the fan, you're all going to go down.
So does it mean that in the case where both of you, or you're a couple, and I mean, both of you are public figures, does it mean that those two can't have a private life?
Oh, those two can very easily have a private life. Like I said earlier, I started by saying strongly that it all depends on what you choose to put out there. It is a choice. Those two celebrities can still decide that we are the ones in the limelight. It has nothing to do with our children. It has nothing to do with our personal issues. But if today Noella and George Quay are married, and the slightest fight, Noella takes to social media, who does that George Quay think he is? Or Noella starts, and look, understand that, especially all those that come and pretend they are motivating or advising or giving you marriage advice and everything, half the problems they are posting there are their own problems. And people can actually read through the lines. It is their own problems. So if you choose to make your personal problems public and you feed the public and the public follows you that way, look, that is why, for instance, I'll give you a practical example. Our very good friend Funny Face is in hospital. He was depressed. His depression led him to find an escape. That escape that he found was to put private issues into the public domain. It became news. There are newsmakers out there who don't really care about you. They only care about their news. Sometimes people do that looking for love. They are looking for somebody to care. But unfortunately, we're in a world where it's just snap, click, share. So they do not care. If they cannot snap, click, and share, and you willingly give it to them, they will use it. And the thing is that the internet never forgets. Whatever you put out there would be there forever. Some 10, 20, 30 years from now, if Funny Face decides to run for presidency, some opposition is going to spill everything that he's put out there, and they'll use it against him, unfortunately. That is the fact. Then there's a very, very, very tricky one, which is actually a disease. Let me not call it a disease. It's a psychological disorder, which a lot of people do not know about. It is called the Histrionic Personality Disorder. Spelled as in history, or RIONIC, Histrionic Personality Disorder. A lot of popular people tend to suffer this personality disorder. You understand? It is a very, very serious disorder that affects mainly people in the limelight. And what it does to you is that it makes you crave to be in the limelight almost every time. It makes you crave. You are there. You're putting things there. You just want to be noticed. You want to be the center of attention. You understand? They call it a mental health condition. It affects the way a person thinks, perceives, and relates to others. And sometimes it's gene related. It plays a role in the development of the personality disorder. And they just seek attention. They talk dramatically with strong opinions. They are easily influenced, and that is the nature of that disorder. So people who have that disorder tend to do a lot of dramatic stuff in the public space. And sometimes, if you're a celebrity and your fame seems to dwindle a little bit, sometimes you find celebrities do very, very strange things on social media. You don't understand. Some of them, some of our ladies, and then all of a sudden they're showing the sexy part of them. They're going all nude. They're going all naked. They're saying all sorts of things. It could be a disorder, but because that disorder is not very, very prevalent here, or we haven't really read much about that disorder, we don't even know that it exists. A lot of people do not know that a histrionic personality disorder exists, and it makes you lose your privacy. So living a private life, trust me, is a choice. And celebrities or people in the limelight need to understand that they are the ones in the limelight. It is your business. Imagine if, quote unquote, you have a family member who drives a latrine vehicle, and then he puts your picture on it because you are his brother, and then his picture is on it too. We are the shit people. We are coming. I don't think you're going to be excited.
So, George,
everywhere he goes, my sister is Noella Karinyale. Oh, we live together in the same house. Oh, this business, she'll be joining. That is what they are doing. You may not like it. So have you asked yourself, if the people you are also putting in the limelight, the issue you are putting in the limelight, the people that are involved, have you asked yourself if they are happy about it?
So, George, you've spoken at length on a number of things. One of them was that you should be careful about the kind of things you put out there, and also ensure that you don't put certain things about maybe your personal life out there. But how about the things that you do privately, but you don't have power over it, whether or not to put it out there or not? How about those things? How do you manage? How do you still go about doing your, in quotes, maybe naughty stuff, but then know that you don't have the power to put it out there? How do you manage situations like that?
There are things in life that you can't control. In communications theories, there's something called the Johari Window. You know, the Johari Window is sort of a technique that helps people better understand their relationships with themselves and others. I think it comes in four quadrants, in a quadrant. And in that quadrant, there's a blind spot, there's the arena, there's the facade, and there's the unknown. You know, it tells you that there are things that are known to you, and then there are things that are known to others, things that are known to both you and others. There are things that you do that you probably do not know, but others know. There are things that you do that others know that you don't even know. You know, it's a little complicated. Might need a bit more time to explain. You understand? And it only tells you the fact that there would definitely be things about you that people would know. Noella, let us assume you and I start an affair today. I'm a married man. It's just an affair between you and I. We're trying our best to keep it very, very private because we're both in the limelight. And please, the bloggers that are listening, we are not having an affair. I'm just using this as an example. Just clearing. You have to be careful. Okay. So we both decide to keep it private. But Noella has this best friend who Noella shares everything with. Then Noella tells her best friend, Charlie, me and George have started something, but don't tell anybody. It's just between the two of us. Oh, cool. What Noella hasn't realized is that best friend also has a best friend. And that best friend might be Nathaniel Atto. That best friend told Nathaniel Atto, Noella has a best friend. Hey, you know Noella is having something to do with George, blah, 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 blah. But of course, I trust you. You not tell anybody, blah, blah, blah. That Nat knows. So Nat goes home. Nat is having a chat with his wife. And Nat and his wife are so cool. That's Nat's best friend. He has no other best friend. Nat believes it's his wife. He can confide in his wife. He won't go anywhere. So this is my wife. Nat says, hey, maybe they are listening to Late Night Express. They hear George Quay. Nat's why, oh, this guy, blah, blah, this show, I like it. But, oh, George, don't mind him. He's having an affair with some girl crying in the office. Some Noella girl, you know. Hey, when you see them, you can, and all that. Nat's wife knows. And then Nat's wife goes to work. Then her colleague, you get it, the way things move. So at the end of the day, it is still your fault. You opened your mouth. If you did not open your mouth to confide in that best friend of yours, who has another best friend, who has another best friend, who has another wife, who has a trustworthy partner, who has a trustworthy friend, your SHIT wouldn't be out there. So at the end of the day, it is all a choice that people make. Look, you're human. We all endeavor to be the very best versions of ourselves. Maybe that is why some people's scandals aren't out there just yet. But it doesn't mean they don't have cobwebs in their cupboards, in their wardrobes and stuff like that. You understand me? Mm-hmm. I mean, if people should tell you about their experiences from way back in school and all that, you'd even be surprised to know that, look, there are some people sitting in very, very high positions who you'd be surprised to know that there's probably some bank manager sitting in some big bank manager sitting in some big bank in Ghana who used to cry about Nathaniel Atto as though Nat was the only man she ever saw. some time back. But today she's a big woman. I don't think she would want that story ever to come out.
Right. So I need you to wrap up for me, but in wrapping up, would you say then, based on the explanation you have given me right now, would you say that once you decide, as a public figure, once you decide to have a private life, it's imperative to consciously live a modest life to sort of avoid all these stuffs that may come up about you that you don't control?
When I hear the word modest, I don't like it because in our part of the world, it is explained differently. Look, Nathaniel Atto drives a Jaguar. He's one of the best-dressed men we have in our country. You know, a Jaguar and other cars. Is that modesty? Some people will say it is not. It's flashy and all that. When some people see me change a car,
I mean, using the same example you gave, married man dating and Noella.
The point is this: it is not about modesty. It is just about keeping your mouth shut. That expression, silence is golden, it best applies to celebrities. Live your life, wear the finest clothes, work hard, live in the finest house, travel first class if you can afford it, travel business if you can afford it. But that doesn't mean at every point you snap, click, and share. You snap, click, and share. And then George Quay is traveling Emirates business or first class. And then as soon as he gets on the, hey, folks, here I am, blah, blah, blah. And then you put it on. George Quay is driving an Escalade, or he picks up his new Escalade from the garage. And then, hey, people, this is my new, George Quay buys the penthouse at the Villaggio. And then just as they are moving in and setting up the place, he puts it, and it's on his Snap, it's on his Instagram, it's on his... That is a choice you make. And the day you fall from that grace to the grass, if you don't share it, the people that you fed when you were sharing your good times, they would find it and share it on your behalf.
Right,
George. Because you put it out there in the first place. So we just need to learn to keep control of what it is we want to share. Mr. Logic is a very successful man. I don't see him flaunting his success all over the place. So is Nathaniel Atto. I don't see them flaunting it.
Yeah.
Those that make the choice to flaunt every little thing that they do, they cough. I once heard Reverend Dr. Mensah Otabil preach about people who share the food they eat on social media, and I agree with him. I think it's a weak mentality.
Right, George.
If you click share everything, the day everything comes tumbling down, the world will also share it for you.
But you, George, you are talking about Nathaniel driving a Jaguar. You too, you have a big Mercedes-Benz car, a very huge one.
Among other cars.
And a Ford. Okay. It's good you're telling me now.
We're blessed. God is good.
Anyway.
And he keeps blessing us.
Amen, George.
Amen.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, George.
All right.
So you heard George Quay. George Quay is a communications expert, and he has been... Okay, I'm sorry. My console was misbehaving. But yeah, he was sharing his thoughts on the topic we're discussing today, which is it possible for a public figure to have a private life? I know, guys, you've listened to him. I know a lot of you would want to react to some of the things he said, but I want to start with Mr. Logic. Mr. Logic, you have been with us for quite a while. You've listened to Rocky Dawuni, Ms. V, Nathaniel Atto, George Quay.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the topic?
Right. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think you sounds very good on the radio.
Oh, thank you.
You should get your own show, yeah.
Thank you.
And with Nathaniel, I think I'm one of the people who have been watching you as well. I like the way you dress. You are very conscious of your dress code. It's very important. Yeah. Very, specific.
Particular.
Yeah, the things you wear and all that. I have a friend, anytime he sees Nathaniel on TV, this guy, they rush too much. I think the confidence...
it's loud.
It's loud, very loud. Big up, boss. For me, I heard Rocky, and he said he doesn't like the word celebrity. He'd rather stick with public figure. But for me, I think the difference between a public figure and a celebrity is clear. A celebrity is someone who goes out and people rush to him and they're all over him, like Shatta, Stoneboy. These are celebrated people. And a public figure, even though it's the same word, a public figure is a person who is known, who is popular, who is famous, but he's not celebrated. Because we have people who are on TV, they're on radio, they walk by the road, people see them and just point at them. Well, that's this guy going. And we have others who walk by the road and people trunk to them. Like Shatta and Stone and Sack and all these guys. If Sack should walk down this street now, it will be full. It means he's celebrated. I think people like that don't really have private life because they can't sneak out to do anything on their own without having security or people with them or hiding. But figures and famous people, ordinary public figure, I would use the word ordinary because You can just be popular for reasons of being on radio or being how you dress or the car you drive. It doesn't make you a celebrated person. So there are dynamics to the word. And, you know, Miss V explained how she's able to cope with temperament and times that she's in bad moods and times she needs to put up a fake smile and all that. These are all some of the hazards. But I don't really think as a public figure you should imprison yourself on how you should be free. That's why I give my clear definition of how I understand these words. Because for me, I wouldn't say I'm a celebrated person, but there are places when I go, people rush to come and see me. Oh, that's Logic.
You're a public figure.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a musician.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't consider myself a celebrated public figure, but there have been places I've been that people come to see me. I still don't consider myself being celebrated. That's why I said I use brands like Shatter, how people rush to them. It doesn't matter how many people come to me and say, oh, Logic can come around. Yes. It still doesn't make me a well-celebrated guy.
But you know the unfortunate thing? The thing is, you don't think that you are celebrated.
Yeah, but
or a
that's how
celebrity.
it looks.
People
Yeah, that's how it
actually
appears.
perceive
But
you.
I'm trying to make clear the character. You see, the private life issue, like Nathaniel said, he has a wife, he has 2 kids, 2 daughters, but no one knows them. It's because he doesn't want anyone to know his family. It's a decision. And we have others who are known by where they live, because I'm sure where he lives, everyone knows his family. So it's based on your demography. Oh, you live here. They know that's Nathaniel, that's the wife, that's the kids. But then to make it public to the whole world by going on social media and posting them, that I think is unfair. It's not right. It's more like you are flaunting them. And it makes you look amateur. I mean, why would you want people to know your kids? There are people who don't like you. And they know, okay, your child lives here. He goes to school here. If they don't find you, they find your family. So mostly, because of your job, you may have enemies, you don't even know them. That's why it's advisable for security reasons to keep your family out of the fame. That's the only reason why I wouldn't want you to know my kid. Because if you can't find Logic, you know where his son goes to school. You go for him. So you keep your family away from the limelight because for security reasons, not for any other reasons than security reasons. Aside that, you don't have a private life. Because where I live, I mean, the first time I moved in there, someone saw me, he passed me the first day, second day, passed the third day, he said, excuse me, are you Mr. Logic? And I said, yes. I couldn't hide because he mentioned my name verbatim. And then you go places like the mall and you think no one knows you here. By the time you go, the cashier sees you, oh, boss, are you? That's how it works. So I can say I don't have a private life. But like my family, private life as in when I'm walking, yes, I don't have it. But private life as in my family, I have them. Because you've never seen my child. I mean, I barely push my son anywhere. You understand? You don't know who has been my wife or who is my wife. You don't know them. Because I'm not the kind that will come out and say, oh, that's my wife, or even I don't even celebrate anniversaries. You know, so it's a decision. So it's how you want it to be. But then we have to understand the fact that celebrities are different from public figures. Because these days, when you go on social media, there's a new trend of fame on social media where people insult each other. Like they have beefs and they go on video, they do videos to insult each other just for fame. And that's the same habit that drove Monaguchi and all these people into bad light. Because I mean, you need to talk about a life you've not lived. You understand? They need to boast one way or the other to find a certain title on them, a clout. Yeah, I'm this, I've been here, I've been there, but you've not been. So you don't force yourself to be a celebrity. You can be a figure, a public figure. You are known. DJ Bridash is a public figure. He's known, but he's not celebrated. So we need to understand the difference between being a public figure and being a celebrity. So we will understand how we apply our life. As I think we are all missing the point.
Right, Logic. It's 24 minutes after 9. Still listening to Daybreak Hitz live here on Hitz 103.9 FM, and I'm Noella Karniali, sitting in for Andy Dusty. At this point in the show, we're taking a breather. When we come back, there's more. 27 minutes after 9, and you're still locked on to Hitz 103.9 FM. It's Daybreak Hitz. We're in the last belt of our show, which is the Showbiz review segment. And what we are discussing is whether or not it's possible for a public figure or celebrity to have a private life. And so far, we've heard from Miss V, we've heard from Rocky Dawouni, We've heard from George Quay, Nathaniel Atto, Mr. Logic. I still have Ria and Kumi in the studios with me. You're welcome, Ria and Kumi.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to begin. Good morning, Kumi. So I'm going to begin with Ria. Ria, I mean, first of all, do you want to share your thoughts on your general thoughts on it?
Definitely. I listened to. Unfortunately, I came in late, and I listened to Mr. Logic, Nathaniel, and George Quay. I didn't get the opportunity to listen to Rocky Downey and Miss V. But basically, what I think about this whole situation is George Quay calls it the histrionic disorder. I call it the Kardashian culture, honestly, because let's not forget he made reference to how things are now click and share. Okay, and now click and share has been monetized. People make money out of posting their food. They call it content. People make money out of posting their food, make money out of posting their travels, lifestyle. So I think it is the new age, how things are going now. And Mr. Logic stated clearly too that there were dynamics to it. Okay, so let me make an example. Like, we all know Nadia Buhari. We all know Nadia Buhari has a husband and has kids. But she's posted her kids, she's posted her husband, but you don't know their faces. When the man is passing around right now in front of multimedia, you will not even know that that's Nadia Buhari's husband. You understand? We also have a very big star, well-known worldwide, Keanu Reeves. He still takes the subway wherever he's going. You understand? And people leave him alone. But we still celebrate and we love Keanu Reeves. Okay, so it has dynamics. You do what you are able to do, what you feel you are going to be able to do. Unfortunately for someone, and it's sad I have to bring this up again, for someone like Funny Face, he couldn't stand it. He couldn't take it. And now look at where he ended up. You understand? We've seen so many people who have, spiraled out of control because of celebrity, fame, getting to my head and all those things. And unfortunately, because of that, people resort to drugs and all sorts of things. But honestly, I think as a celebrity, you have to know the type of person you are. See professional people who can coin a brand around the kind of person you are. I mean, for the privacy, I mean, to some extent, you won't, like what Nathaniel was saying, you will not be totally, private, but at least something that will keep you going. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Ria. Kumi?
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Good morning once again.
Good morning. It looks like everyone is saying, "Oh, you can have a private Really, Kumi? I want you to tell me something new.
It depends on who you are. Let me tell you this. This is my perception about the job that we do. Okay, I'm a newscaster, TV, radio. I'm an actor. I will appear on people's TV every day, but that is my job. Somebody is a carpenter. That is his job. So to me, I come to serve. If you see me and you see me to be somebody that you like, that is you. But I wouldn't be carried away by the fact that people see me and they like me, or people would like to have pictures with me or anything of that sort. I live my life. I buy the things I want to buy. I do the things I want to do. But I make sure that whatever I'm doing will not have an implication on the job that I do. So that when you come to my area, everyone knows me in the area. Because when I go home, I'm not Obidumbi, I'm Ernest. I'm an area guy. I have friends. Some are taxi drivers, some are trotro drivers, some don't work, some are doctors, some are journalists. When we meet, we are friends. We've met. If it is time for us to go and play football, and I feel like playing, you come and see me on the field. If I don't feel like playing, I'll be in my house. If it is time for us to sit and chill, we will do that. So me, I don't allow the work and, the attention and get to me at all. I live my life. Let me tell you this. Most of my friends are business people. And these are people that when they are passing by, you wouldn't even know. But go to the accounts and see. Some have private jets. But when you see them, they live a normal private life. We sit, we talk about money. Me, my vision is to, make money, establish my own business, employ people, and all these kind of things. So the celebrity thing to me, they get to me. Me, my vision, my aim everywhere. I just went for a meeting, Charlie, let's make money. The celebrity thing, if that thing is not bringing you money, then you have a problem. Rhea was saying something that people post because they are providing content and that is making them money. The question is that thing making you money? Or what do you want? It's either you have revenue or you have audience share. That is our job. Revenue and audience share. Audience share means getting the highest views. Then you transform that into revenue to better your life. So if that is your motive, some people also do it for fun. That is what makes them happy. You can't fault them. But know that whatever you do today, you pay for it tomorrow. You cannot sow mango or plant mango and reap corn. Whatever you're doing today, whether good or bad, the repercussions will come someday to come and you'll be responsible for it. So if you feel like eating wache and there's wache joint at your, just around the corner, just go and have it. If you feel like, okay, when I go there, people will look down upon me and all these kind of things, and because of that, you want to imprison yourself, that is your own cup of tea. Me, I live my life. If I have it, I have it. If I don't have it, I don't have it. That is me. My vision, my thoughts, my concentration is how to make my future better. Simple. Whatever you do to your life is your own cup of tea. Me, I don't care. Oh, me, recently, you see me almost every time, in a taxi. Not because I don't have a car. But if I think that is the best for me, why not? There was a day somebody saw me, hey, we didn't be in a taxi, you do need campo. Somebody will be worried. But to me, I'm not worried. I used to pick trotro. I used to walk. In fact, I started picking trotro. I started taking dropping. I have a car. I'm in a taxi. What makes the difference? It's the same me. Just that where I work and the level have changed. Yes, you can change your level too if you want to. But sometimes the society plays a role in all these things. Great. The moment you get to some level, the society, cuts some expectation code and fits you in. That, okay, Noella, I knew Noella when Noella came. So now I've heard Noella speaking on Daybreak Hitz. Noella should have a Jaguar by tomorrow. So by tomorrow, if I see Noella and Noella is not driving a Jaguar, Noella is a disappointment. And because of that, we are forced to buy into that pressure. That is why if somebody is given an appointment, let me use this. If somebody is given an appointment as a minister designate, and the person is going for vetting, you see the whole town, they will pick a bus to come and accompany the person to show solidarity because they see it as a blessing. A time for them to also enjoy from the national cake. Our mindset, the mindset that we have as a people is what is forcing people to live fake lives. Because you've been on TV, you don't have a car. So you have to go and borrow someone's car. You have to go and rent so that the program, when you read the program, people will know, say, yeah, you've also arrived. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for whatever you do. I always say that at age 60, if God willing I'm alive, I want to look back at everything that I did and say, thank you, Lord, and be proud of myself. So everything I do today, I put the age 60 in my mind, and that is my motivation. We all have cobwebs that we hide. If you want to know me, there's only one place that you see me drinking. That is in my area. Apart from that place,
invited me there.
No, I'll invite you. Apart from that place, the only thing you will see me drinking in the whole world is water. My private life remains my private life. People know my wife. They don't even know my wife. They've heard the name Abikus because she's my costumier as a fashion designer and I'm her model. So it is my responsibility to always make sure I mention her name. But if you are the type who, if you don't work here, if you see my wife right now, how would you know this is Abikus? I hardly post her. But we are doing business, so it is my responsibility to let people know
about
her works and all these things. So we are responsible for whatever. Don't let society put pressure on you. Because when you die, another star will come. Enjoy life the way God gave you. God gave you your life. God gave me my life. God gave everybody one life. Don't let anybody
mess it up for you.
If you do that.
He makes some very brilliant points, and I just wish we had all day to be discussing this. Very quick one. So, once again, another example. I was, I'd gone for an event. It was a station event. And, this was at the Children's Park in Ridge. So, I wanted to come back to the office. And normally when we have a station event, there's so many cars, I was like, you know what, let me just jump into a cab and come to the studio. So I get there, I get out. And then I beckon this guy to stop. He stops. And he's like, oh, he will collect XY. And I'm like, Masa, you know what the guy said to me? He said, oh, boss. So say, you guess what? That day, I doubled the amount. Okay. And it just goes to encapsulate what
Kumi was saying.
Kumi is saying about where society places you. And I'd also like to pick something from where Mr. Logic, from what Mr. Logic said about, the grades and the vastness of what people perceive to be celebrity. But listen, let's issue a disclaimer here. You know something? There's one definition for the word celebrity in the dictionary, and it applies. And so because of that, it is very easy for people to fit into that space. However, it is the picture, the mental picture that the public paints of the people that they want to fit in that space that creates the problem, as Kumi has said. So, once again, it is about everybody and the way they approach it. I approach it in a completely different way. For instance, you will never catch me dead at a police checkpoint, say to them that, do you know who I am? Look, I think that the cheapest thing to ever say to anybody is, do you know who I am? Last example, I know we don't have time. Look, so in 2014, I bought a car. But today, George Quay, what I'll do to that?
Expose.
Let's continue. See, so I hadn't registered the car. I bought it in November. Okay, so I wanted to register in January, because of resale value and everything. So I went for an event at the banquet hall. And I had to go drop a friend of mine, somewhere in Osu. So I went through Ringway Estates. And then in the curve somewhere, I just saw all of these guys, the police guys, all fully armed and everything, beckoned me to stop and everything. I was very calm. And then one of them came and sat in my car. Okay, let's go. Let's go to Osu police station. I was like, okay, no problems. So where's my logbook? And then one of them picks it, goes to put it in the patrol vehicle, and they drive away the patrol vehicle. And then this guy, fully armed to the teeth. I mean, from night vision on his helmet to everything. He had everything. Pepper spray, everything. Charlie. Sure, he had 50 rounds of bullets and everything. Sits in the back of my car. We drive. I didn't say anything to him. So we get to Osu police station. We park the car. I get out of the car. And then another policeman, who obviously lives in the barracks, is walking up, sees me. Oh, Charlie, not. Charlie, what happened? I hand swear. I say, oh, Charlie, they say, then I know my car, I know register with. They say, Ibi who? Then immediately the guy started behaving that way towards me. This guy takes off his helmet and starts looking at me. And then, the guy said something very silly to him. We were on radio, so he goes, Then the guy says to me that, but why is it that when he sat in the car, I didn't say anything to him, or I didn't, and I didn't,
flex your
my weight. I said, oh, weight? God gives weight. We human beings don't have weight. You don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's the approach. It's measuring your cloth and designing it or using it to make clothes at the time and at your own pace.
Right.
And once you do that, you're gonna be fine.
Good.
But hey.
So there's a question I posed to George Quay, and his answer didn't really convince me. So I'm going to pose that question to all of you. But let me quickly sell my product because it gives me money. Exactly. Yeah. Now, some unscrupulous persons are using the Facebook account of Franco Trading Enterprise to defraud innocent citizens on Facebook. Now, although we have a Facebook account, we do not accept payment on WhatsApp and on Facebook. So kindly use our official Franco app or website, that is www.francotrading.com or www.francophones.com, and get up to 30% discount on every product you buy. Now, if you buy from our online, your phone will be delivered right at your doorstep. Now, at Franco Trading Enterprise, we stock the brand new Franco Trading television sets ranging from 36 to 55 inches at an affordable price with a free wall mount as well. Now, we also have the latest Huawei Nova 5T phone, all the latest mobile phones, accessories, laptops, tablets, printers, TVs, etc. So locate our head office at the Daybreak opposite the Roxy Cinema, or call the following numbers, which is 0246 422 338 or 0546 133 188. Franco Trading Enterprise, phone Papa Fee. Now, are you watching your favorite program on a flat screen television? HD flat screen television? Did you know that you can get it in a clearer and brighter high definition quality, which is 5 times better than standard definition? Get the new HD Plus decoder today from the nearest authorized dealer or any Electroland showroom nationwide, and enjoy the feely experience on your HD TV like never before. So visit www.hd-plus.com.gh, that's www.hd-plus.com.gh, or call 0242 439 872 for more details. So there's a new ultra-modern and well-equipped alternative healthcare facility in town, and it's the HS Medical Center, and they're running a Know Your Partner Bonanza. Did you know? Do you know your partner very well? How long have you lived as partners? When was the last time you checked yourselves for STIs, i.e. gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, and hepatitis infections? Also they do urine investigations, full blood count, sickling status. All you need to do is to pick up a free folder, get a free consultation, and enjoy a package for partners in the month of February, which is 3 days or so away from March, and pay only 250 Ghana cedis for the above laboratory investigation and interpretations. Now, we are specialized in the treatment of chronic kidney diseases, urinary tract infections, sexually transmitted infections, especially chlamydia infections, and chronic liver diseases, that's hepatitis B, viral infections. So contact HS Medical Center on 0243 768216 or 0265 174070. Now you can also locate us at the Kaneshi Metro Bus station, and note that the 250 Ghana cedis is for both partners, okay, not for just one person. Just cool. Now, Betway is making it easier for you to keep your account in the game. Don't waste time transferring cash between your Momo wallet. Top up your Betway account for multiple mobile money wallets with Betway Multifund and never miss the perfect bet again. So deposit safely and securely with Betway Multifund and feel the thrill of betting on your favorite teams, players, and leagues at a moment's notice. Visit betway.com.gh for more information, and remember, you cannot bet if you're under the age of 18 years, okay? And it's regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. So Betway, for the love of the game. So let's get back into our discussion, guys. So I told you that I had a question for all of you. We keep on saying that you're a public figure, but you can have a private life and all of that. But in that private life that you decide to have, Kumi, like you rightly said, you deal with people. There are people in your area that you live in. You make business transactions. You have, in quote, pleasurable moments with certain people, and those people, you have no control over them. You can't tell them what to do with your lives. You can't tell them, okay, you know, I'm a public figure. I know I'm doing this with you. It's not exactly right. It's not exactly good, but I don't want you to put it out there. I mean, you can't control them putting your private stuff out there. So how, I mean, does it even make it possible to have a private life after all?
You can control it.
How?
Me, wherever I go, I'm very careful about whether people want to take pictures without my notice or not. You know, I'm very, very security conscious because anything that goes out there should have my permission. Or else, brah, sister, you have a case. Yeah. You cannot take my picture without telling me.
But I mean, we've heard about stories of people sleeping and people take pictures of them and put it out there. Yeah, you might sue the person, but the damage would have been done.
Let me help.
Okay.
Kumi, listen. Do you know that one journalist made his way into the castle when President Obama was here? He walked in there. I mean, he was wearing a suit. He was looking very smart. He walked in there, outwitted everybody, was part of every event. He didn't have any accreditation or anything. You understand me? You do your part. But what George
Try
is talking
your
about...
best.
Yes, of course.
Try your best.
You do your part. But what George is talking about is that 0.5%, which has the potential to become 2 or 3%. And that one, unfortunately, there's nothing you
Can
Yeah,
do.
do anything about.
if it is out of your control, then definitely there's
I'll
nothing
give
you
you.
can
I'll
do.
give you. I'll give you another example. I like to be very practical. That's why I've been sharing a lot of examples. When I'm a COVID survivor, okay. When I admittedly, I'm one of the people. Karen, you tell me if you've. I mean, in the early stages, you saw me wearing masks. No. I'm not proud of saying that now. So I remember very well that when I hosted Joe Metals' wedding, his traditional marriage. I then announced to everybody that, oh, you need to, and I was always using sound clarity on the microphone as my excuse for not wearing the mask. That day, when I got home, there was a video of me, working up the people, hey, having a party, blah, 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 people dancing around me, blah, 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 blah. There was a video in my house of me, I said, yeah, see, there he's, not wearing his mask. You understand me? I have had situations as well where people who live abroad have sent me pictures of me sitting at places. Like I said, in recent times, it's very easy to get those things done. And it's very easy to outwit people. You understand me? So, yes, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing to be conscious of yourself. Look, I've actually had a good friend of mine. I've had him delete pictures of me on his phone. Because here we were at an open bar hangout, and I had... It was the case that I was sitting between two ladies. And okay, well, this is an intimate issue. Let's bear the facts. A friend of mine had a clash, and he's a very, very close friend of mine. So we had to manage the situation for him because we was going to get into trouble. So I sat there. I sat in the middle. We're all having a good time. I was engaging everybody nicely. And then this friend of mine takes the picture, and I'm like, hey, my friend, I mean, this is not right. I mean, you're taking this picture of me. Anybody who sees this anywhere will think, oh, this guy, he's
Might
having a ball.
misinterpret it.
No way. You understand me? So there are some very adventurous nuts out there. There are very, smart people out there who will always outwit you, even if you have the tightest of security, even if you have.
But do you know that when you get to some level, when you become a public figure, people think that they can take pictures of you without
have an unlimited access to
Yeah.
you. One day I was with a Samoajan at John Paintel's mom's funeral in Tema. So we're seated there, and then these guys walk up and they're like, oh, they want to take pictures and everything. And then some of them also just come and stand behind him. And then they, they're trying to take,
selfies,
shots.
yeah.
Some of them are shoving you a little bit and everything. And you see, that is where you also need to know that's where your interpersonal communication skills have to come in. Because you see, like Miss V said, sometimes you have to force a smile. Because everybody, what we also do not realize is that the thousands of people who follow us and who we're exposed to draw from our energy a great deal. So maybe, for all you know, this person seeing you every other day, host your show, host an event, write something, say something, is a point of energy and a point of inspiration for them to go ahead and do this. You understand me?
Yeah.
So this person eventually gets physical access to you. They may not necessarily be very well cultured and know how to approach you and everything. And sometimes, out of the excitement, they end up messing up. Okay? And then maybe you also flip because you're not in a good mood. You're human. And then it sends out that bad signal. And then the trouble starts.
You are rude.
You understand?
I went to MC some program
Yeah.
at Pankese.
Could you wrap up for me?
Yeah, I went with Olams Ghana. And just when the program was about going over, there was this guy who came. He saw me and, hey, Kwaku, hey, Waba, hey, and came to hug me. The guy was dead drunk. And he was smelling as though for the past 3 days, he's been drinking without brushing the teeth. That that was the worst point of you meeting somebody who admires you. But the point is, the person came close to you because the person admires you. And if you decide to frown, it will send a bad signal that you are inhuman. You know, you are not that friendly. So I was forced to smile, and deep down I was crying in me. It was serious.
Mr. Logic.
Yeah, for me, I think seriously, we may or may not have a private life, because if you look at being a celebrated person in a form of, in a commercial way, you understand that most people are brands. I mean, when you go to a restaurant to eat, you are not allowed to see their kitchen,
Right.
because that's a brand eatery. If you should see how the food is prepared, I'm sure you'll be put off. So some of these things is all has to do with brand protection. You don't have to be everywhere. People shouldn't see you everywhere because you are selling a product. I mean, if I should get up in the morning and I see Sako there at the back of my yard, walking around, walking by anyhow, I'm not sure when I hear his songs, I'll be moved. So you protect the brand. The brand protection aspect of a celebrated person is very important, unless you are selling nothing. So we need to understand the dynamics of who is a celebrity. That's why
I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
So what if your brand is to be everywhere?
No, it depends what you are selling, because not all celebrities are selling something. Not all of them are brands. That's why I use SAC, because SAC is selling music. And there is a price value on him. I'm coming. There's a price value on him. Yet we have brands we have celebrities like social media celebrities. Those who make noise and fight, and they depend on their following.
They're reality stars too.
Thank you. They don't sell nothing. They're selling nothing. Their job is to be on radio, to be on TV, or to be on social media.
Is something.
Come
The
again?
fight is their content.
The fight is their content. Now, that's what I'm saying. As I said, there are dynamics into the characters. If you are a brand like Sarko, who is a celebrity, or Shutter, who sells music and has a commercial, industrial value, as in how he charges to appear, I'm not sure you want to be everywhere. Because if I
No, just to say something.
Yes.
I had the privilege of being in town with One Love the Kobolo. What does he sell? He sells
No, come on. I mean, that's why I said there are dynamics. Every brand and what they represent.
Okay.
There is a value, a price value on all these brands. I don't know how much One Love Kobolo charges.
There is a price.
No,
value.
there is
Let him finish.
because see, for instance, how come we have A-list artists? We call some people A-list artists because of their price value and their impact. Why do we call others whatever? You understand? You don't expect to walk down Tiptoe Lane and see Sarko there walking around there, or eating wache. You say, that's Sarko there. In your mind, psychologically, you shouldn't be here. So automatically, what you are selling also controls how you behave in public. If I'm selling nothing, like for instance, DJ Bridash can just walk out of this studio and be walking down Tiptoe. He's a DJ. He's not selling anything. Yet he is a figure. You might not call him a celebrated figure, but he's a figure. So based on what you are selling, like Natalia, for instance, he is a celebrated personality. He's known. But then you may see him in certain places only because he knows that, look, I'm a brand, I'm a figure. I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I may be free to go here, but this place I shouldn't be. Here I shouldn't be. Based on the value on him. So people behave on how they are perceived. Because if you have a price tag that if I should call Natalia and he will charge me 50K to be an MC, then I don't expect to see him in certain places. Because my audience coming shouldn't know that, Natalia, there's a or 50K. For instance, I mean, like, it's like calling, I think a guy called, I was supposed to make a booking for a certain promoter. Then he said he want this guy. We were going abroad. And so the guy say he won 10,000 US. He said, now we are boys. That is the mentality. So how you carry yourself also increases your value.
Right.
So there is still a private life to maintain, unless you are just a figure.
Right.
So let's look at the celebrated figures and just figures.
Okay.
So Rocky Daouni, to me, he gave you a scenario of himself buying in the market and for his mom and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, I could understand him, but in America, I don't know if he does that, where his market is high. I'm not sure he will be walking everywhere in the mall in America, because he knows that there are parameters where he shouldn't be. You understand? So it's based on how you are valued.
Right.
There's still a private life to keep. Seriously.
Right. Ria,
Yeah.
wrap up for me.
What I mean,
In a minute,
the key
please.
the key word right now is dynamic. Okay, so let's just as I said before, let's just figure out what works for us. I mean, if you want to be a celebrity and you want to be out there, be out there. Okay, but do not come and cry when people are all up in your business. You understand? Because you made your own bed, lie in it. It's just like Kumi said, made your own bed, lie in it. So yeah, basically that's all. I didn't
see.
spend there.
Guys, Nathaniel, quickly.
Well, look, I think that we're all revolving around the same point and agreeing to a large extent to a lot of the things. One of them being the fact that once you have numbers and you have following, you need to have responsibility. And it means also that you need to carve a certain path. When you overrate yourself, when you get into those fixated realms of, grandeur, where you're trying to be what you're not, then the problems come in. I'm glad that I saw my brand, I saw my picture years ago, and I worked towards it, and I'm glad and happy for being my natural self and being appreciated greatly for what I do. And I'm glad as well that is what butters my bread, to a 300% extent. So it's very simple. Let's understand the space we're in. Let's understand the people who follow us. Let's also understand that we have a responsibility towards the society. That's the reason why, as a person, for instance, I decide that I'm not going to be seen doing certain things or having certain company or spewing out or putting certain content on my pages and my space, because we have a certain responsibility towards people. I mentioned to you that I'm the announcer for Spelling Bee. So if, for instance, you see me posting nude pictures or doing pornographic content on my, it affects my relationship with that brand, and it also goes to affect what these kids see, because these kids come up to me, some of them look up to me. I've had several examples as yours. People come up to me, hey, but listen, I'm a very young guy. People come up to me and they're like, oh, cool. You are not, and you announced the spelling bee when I was in class 5. I was like, oh, okay, well, So it's a good space to be in, but you can have it if you want it, and
but all in all, don't let the society give you unrealistic pressure.
Right.
Exactly. Don't let society fix you into a space you're not ready for. Very, very important.
Right. So
Go
I have a few
by your flavor and by your space.
Right. I have a few reactions here. Let me quickly read through them. And Big Jones from Budumbram says, I was once told by my auntie that the mayor of London did take the underground subway. Imagine it being here in Ghana. Also, Rita Dansu says, wow, George, you spoke very well. Lessons learned. Andrews Blaze says, good morning. Please ask Ria if she's on Facebook, and if yes, how do I search for her? I'm listening.
Ria Anakwa, RIAANAKWA.
Right. And also Kwame Candy, GA says, Hitz FM all the way. Wisdom the Supremo says, hey, BBC lady, good morning. Amen. Amen to the BBC. Good morning. I'm Wisdom, watching you live from Akim. Thanks so much for your company. And guys, it's been 4 hours of beautiful conversations. I have learned so much today. I mean, we heard from Miss V, from Rocky Daouni, from my man Nathaniel Atto, and I mean,
George
your
Quay.
practical examples. Really, I've learned a lot today. George Quay, Kumi, Ria, Mr. Logic, Charlie.
Charlie, you sound
It was great.
so well.
Thank you.
You sound very well.
Thank you very much. Thank
Oh, yeah,
you
I love
guys.
that. I love ladies who sound well.
Thank you. And
It
shouts
turns me
to
on.
Hey.
On that note,
On that note,
I was anticipating.
shouts to Top Herbal Clinic, to EcoBank Rockstars Roofing Systems Limited, quality and affordable.
This is Hitz.